and we are live. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Chronic Conversations. My name is Jerry Anderson, aka Jerry Leonard, and I'm the host. My wife was in here earlier; she had to step out, so it'll just be me today. Thank everybody for joining us. I just want to talk about my sponsor real quick. Everybody knows Sean Thompson, great guy, head of Thompson's Personal Training. If you have training needs, if you want to lose weight, get in shape, he's also a certified boxing coach. He's going through other martial arts. So all of your fitness needs, see Thompson's Personal Training. You can find him on Facebook or you can get him through me. If you tell him that I sent you, then you'll get a free day, which is a $40 value. And now to my guest. And sir, he is the, what is it, your title again?
I am the social media and promotional manager for NGWA.
Okay. And this is Chris Chastain. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to adjust my little settings here a little bit. There we go. All right, man. So let's talk a little bit about who you are there, how you're involved, and what you do in NGWA. Exactly what does your title mean?
So basically, I sit in the back with the guys, and I work the green screen area. I make sure all our guys look good. I take all the pictures that you see of guys that we use for anything promotional, any kind of poster. All the videos that go out on NGWA's Facebook, that comes from me. And I just try to make the show look as presentable as it can be outside of actually being in the show itself. Yeah, my position is everything outside of that building. That's where my influence touches, and it's not as part of me. It's for the guys.
Right. Well, so basically, part of what you do is also adding to the production value of some of it. If people will look, that's certainly something that's changed, and we'll get to that question in a little bit. But speaking of changes, like what has changed from anything since you've joined, from where it was to where it is now? What's different? People who have been here before but not been back in a while, what's different that they're going to see, and what's the same?
Well, I can tell you what is definitely the same for sure. It's still the same family fun feel, with still being a local wrestling promotion. It's still got that local show feeling, but what we're changing is we're trying to make it just a bigger production, more professional, and we're trying to rise to the top of that level in our area. We've changed a lot of things with the type of matches we put on. Maybe not necessarily storyline based, but we're definitely putting on more dynamic matches every month, and we're moving towards possibly doing more than one show a month. Of course, that's further down the road, but there's a lot of things that we've got planned, and it's a one step at a time thing. And right now, I really think that our biggest change is our fan base. Ever since we've kind of started pumping a little bit of life back into it, fans have been very receptive, and it's grown. It's really grown from where it was.
Right. So you are seeing some good reception to some of the changes that have been made, and aesthetics. People like there's so many pieces to a pro
But
wrestling show.
did we freeze there for something? I think the camera froze.
I still see it. You're a little bit blurrier, but I still see you're still moving on this end. Am I looking a little weird on yours? You still hear me? Sorry, guys, we're having a little audio difficulty in video. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jerry. I think your camera's freezing up there.
All right, let me go check just to make sure real quick. Maybe it's some bandwidth. Can you hear me now? Am I back?
There we go. Yeah, I think we're back.
Sorry about that, everybody. Watch. We just had another glitch. This whole day's been a day. I was sick yesterday, and today has been one of those days after being sick, no sleep, that everything goes wrong. I'm knocking stuff over. I'm having technical difficulties I never had. One of those top days. So I apologize to my guests, Chris, and all those watching. We'll get to the rest of this now. So what we was talking about is the changes and how important each and every piece of a pro wrestling show is, whether it's how the ref presents himself, how the announcer looks, what the announcers say, the aesthetics. You know, you have a lot to do with the production value, and the aesthetics are just as important as everything else. That's the first thing people see when they're looking around on the internet, on Facebook for something. Is they're going to see graphics, they're going to see things like that. So definitely improvement in that. I've noticed that from where it was to where it is too. So I think that's definitely a good step forward. Um, and we were talking about fans and what to expect at an NGWA show. It's still family friendly, things like that. Now I know some of the people that are coming up on this show. But before we get to that, I want to put that off for just a minute. Um, Other things they can expect a cost. What does it cost? Because you know everything's expensive these days, especially after the pandemic. So what does it cost to come per person for an NGWA show?
Jerry, I'm telling you, for what we offer, I mean, you can't beat our action and you can't beat our price. It's $5 to get in the door,
Right.
and a lot of places around town. I mean, the lowest I've seen in some places is 10,
Yeah.
which is still not bad. But I
Right.
mean, at $5, you can bring the whole family and everybody can be entertained.
And let
And
me
we have
assure you,
concessions
guys on
that
this card.
still run
Yeah.
pretty cheap.
Yeah, and let me assure you, I know most of the guys on this card, and what you're paying for $5, you're going to go pay
One more
15,
time, brother. I think
25 later. Am I starting to disappear on you again? Can you hear me? Still gone? Nada?
yeah, you're cutting out again, brother.
Not again? Well, shite. Hmm.
It just kind of lags out a little bit and then just kind of freezes and choppy
Yeah,
speech.
I'm not. I don't know if I'm having Wi-Fi problems. Like I said, I'm not experiencing it from this end. You're kind of blurry now instead of like really crystal clear like you were. But other than that, I can hear you fine.
Okay, now you're back. Now you're back. I'm hoping it's not me.
What you know what? We're gonna get through the rest of this really quick, and we'll wrap it up. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do another show before we get to the main thing. But I want to cover a few more things. So if people want to give it another listen, we'll go back over the same stuff and even go more in depth next time. How does that sound?
I think for the next show, I can definitely plan to be in studio with you.
Awesome, awesome. That'll work out good. And what are we got the cost? We talked about that. And what I was saying, I'm not sure if it picked up for them, but for you, what I was saying is I know a lot of people on this card, and you're going to pay to see them other places, just like you do here, but you're going to be paying 15, 25, even more.
Right, right. We've got a lot of names coming in right now that are pretty recognizable, even outside of a local scene. And I'm sure you've seen some of those names, and you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I have. So we covered costs. What's going to be the bell time for shows? Will that change, or is that a pretty standard thing?
Right now, the bell time's pretty standard. It's 7 p.m. As we go forward with feeling out how the new show is going to work, we may change it, we may not. We still have yet to have our first actual managers meeting with me and the other three managers of the show, and just discuss how we want to move forward with a lot of things. Our last show was a hybrid show of kind of old management and new management, and so this is going to be our first one where it's all four of our new managers. And
Got you.
when we see how that goes,
Go from there.
we'll see how things change. But definitely right now, it's still the same old 7 p.m. bell time.
Okay, awesome. 7 p.m. bell time. And the address, where is this located at?
It is 95 Begonia Drive in Subligna, or the Subligna Community Center in Summerville, Georgia.
Okay. And now the next thing I want to talk about is social media. I'm sure you're all over that. Where can they find NGWA on social media? I know you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, Snap. Like, what else are you on, and how can people find you? I can always tell when you get blurry that it's probably freezing up on that side.
Right now, Facebook is our main source. We did have an Instagram with the old NGWA account.
Mhm.
but sadly, when one of the founding members, John Arden, passed, the information for Instagram went with him. Sadly, but that's okay. We'll build back towards that. I am working on a TikTok. I know that's kind of the popular thing right now.
It is.
It's hit and miss, and I'm still feeling the process of posting those up. Copyright and stuff like that. So I'm working on a TikTok, and then hopefully we'll work back towards getting an Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually maybe a YouTube channel. Who knows?
Nice, nice. All right, last thing. This is what I want to talk about. Let's get to this really quick before we wrap it up, and that's October 23rd. There's a show called Genesis coming out. Now, if you would go over some of the names on those cards, and when you get to one I want to talk about, I'll stop you, okay? But don't talk about the main event until last.
Gotcha. First up we've got I think it's Warren Sanders and Austin Tyler. These two guys are very talented young men, and I think that they're going to put on just one of the greatest openers that we've had in the show so far. I've seen them work in the ring, and it's nothing that you want to miss, really. I mean, both guys are charismatic as can be, and their ring work is impeccable. We've got Fly Guy coming in. A lot of people.
So Fly Guy, I have known since I started wrestling for a million years. This dude still look the same. I'm getting older. This dude look the same age. Okay, so one, that pisses me off, but looking so damn good. Two, he's still as athletic as he ever was. It's crazy. So you're going to see some things with this guy that you're not probably expecting. Like, he's got some surprises for you. He's always got something in store.
Yeah, I've watched his work. I've never seen him in person, but I've watched it where I can on YouTube, and I'm excited to have Fly Guy in the ring with us at NGWA. He's gonna be one of the people that really blow the roof off the joint. He's gonna be working with John Bivens. He's one of our guys that's been around with NGWA for a while, and he's stayed on with the change. And John's a good guy. He's very talented. Whether he's there to be loved or hated, the fans really respond to who John is. And I think working with Fly Guy is going to be one of the best matches.
It's going to be great. He's going to be really because I've wrestled Fly Guy many times and taken more than one ass whooping from him. So good luck with that. Have some leave is all I can tell you if you're wrestling. Who else do we have on this card?
We have a tag title match coming up. It's the new Misfits. I know you used to be one yourself for a while. But we have the new Misfits, Coda Black and Cameron Cox. Cameron Cox used to be part of the Centerfolds, and let's just say he weaseled his way into a better deal.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't say better deal.
Better deal. I just
not to discredit the Centerfold.
And we'll get to talking about one of those gentlemen in a little bit, but yeah, when you're in a group with that dude, then it's not only is it safety in numbers, but I think you're going to come out.
I mean, the Misfits carry a weight to their name, and when they show up on any card, people take notice. But the two guys that they're facing, they're two blue-collared, heavy-hitting boys, Iron Man and Plowboy, and they're not pushovers. The Misfits definitely have a fight ahead of them for the tag titles.
I'm not familiar with Plowboy, but I'm also familiar with Iron Man as well, and like many of these people you're going to talk about, I've also taken some ass whoopings from him, and let's just say I keep lots of Aleve and Biofreeze with me for those occasions. So yeah, it's definitely not no easy task, and I know Coda is a little newer to the game, but he's got it in his blood, literally. So, to me, that gives him an instinct maybe that another guy may not have, even if he has a little bit more experience. So don't let that fool you. And even though Cameron will fool you too, but he can lay some hurt on you when he wants to, right?
Oh, right. And Cameron and Coda have gone, head to head in the past, and watching them, I just saw an instant chemistry between them, period. Whether they were going to be best friends or rivals, they just had a natural chemistry in the ring. And the fact that they're putting it together to work on the same team, it's mind-blowing.
It's going to be amazing. And what do we have after that one? Are we to the main event yet? No, because we still
No,
have.
we still have one more title match for the main event. We're gonna have three title matches. We have Roma Miller versus Tyler Sutton. Now, Roma Miller, he's been the Chattooga County champion, our singles champion for quite a while now, and undefeated kid at NGWA. I don't think I've seen him take an L since he's been there. Roma is an incredible athlete. I mean, it says it right on his shirt, supreme athlete, and one of the nicest people I've ever met. But don't let that niceness fool you. He'll put a hurt on you too. But his opponent, Tyler Sutton, this kid is hungry for a belt.
Tyler is that guy that has all this experience and knowledge and knows all these tricks that if you're not careful, you're not going to keep up with him. You may think you'll get into the ring, but once you're in there, it's almost like people probably doing Mike Tyson's punch for the first time. Like, be ready to go with a shocking haul. He's very offensive and he will come at you. And like I said, with the experience and psychology and years of ring wars that he's participated in, he's facing off giants, midgets, me, everybody. Like, there's not a variety that he has not hit yet. And with that comes a lot of knowledge. So he's definitely going to be one to look out for. And if he wants to hold that title and keep undefeated, he's really not going to be able to overlook Kyle Sutton.
You froze up again there, brother, and your audio's kind of tin canned alien robot sounding.
And, well, hello there.
So you're having an audio difficulty
Yeah,
there.
no, we fixed it, but there's somewhere
Along the path, it's getting a little digitized and like it slows down the Wi-Fi on one side or the other. So we're having to push through that, but we're to the end now. We're going to wrap it up soon. We're going to do another one in studio, and that way, yeah. This is my cup. Where? Oh, yeah. Fix it. Let me fix it.
It's fine.
I do like to look at you.
I'll just look at
Okay, I'll look at you. Yeah. Sorry, I get distracted by her. She's very beautiful. It's my co-host Jen. Say hello, Jen. And I don't know if he can hear you or they can hear you. See, when he gets like this,
Audio's back. Audio's back from Chris.
Okay. Usually, when you see it kind of fade out, his video fade out, the audio goes too. And I'm not sure really if the fans can. So if you're watching right now, please let me know. Does he fade out? So we can kind of fix this. But yeah, we are going to do another one in studio, and we're talking about Genesis right now, and we talked about all the matches leading up to the main event. And what do we have left? Yeah, there's been a little bit of pause. I always know because you can tell
That main event's all that's left, my friend.
A little shady. All right, well let me cover this one. Damn. Okay.
Go right ahead.
I mentioned this on my Facebook. Look, I've been a fan and in the wrestling business, one or the other all my life. I don't see much that excites me anymore. I don't see much that surprises me anymore. But this is a match that I got to know who's booking. We'll talk about that later. I want to go shake that dude's hand because this match here is something that I would pay my hard-earned money to see, and I just don't do that with wrestling anymore. The main event is Rawhead Rex, my mentor, and one of the meanest motherfuckers I have ever met in pro wrestling, inside the ring and out. And then he is going up against the monster Cyrus, who has not only conquered America but Japan as well, and came back for the leftovers. That is going to be an amazing match. I love my mentor to death. I love Rawhead Rex. I know how mean he is. I know the experience he has. I know he's battled giants before, but I don't know. You got Cyrus too, and Cyrus is like a different breed. He's the best of old school and new school. What he brings to the table is not just size, but he's got a lot of power and a lot of speed for a guy his size. He is the best of every big man I remember growing up. He's the best of Bam Bam Bigelow, of Vader, of Terry Bam Bam Gordy. If all those guys combined and you took their DNA and threw it in the dish, that's what you're going to have come out. To me, today, the Monster Cyrus is, if not the one of the scariest guys in pro wrestling. Rex, as long as I've known him, has been one of the scariest guys in pro wrestling. I can only imagine the atomic bomb of a match they're going to have. If there was no other match on this card, I would gladly pay you 5, 10, 15, even that 25 to see this match alone. I would pay to see it on pay-per-view. I'm so excited about it, and I cannot wait to see who's going to win. And I'm going to be there live, well as my co-host Jen, and we're going to be covering it so you can see maybe possibly some of our reactions and some of the fans' reactions. It's going to be amazing.
I'm excited.
Amazing. My
And I
wife's
hate
excited.
You know,
Wrestling, and she's excited.
Jerry, you couldn't have said it any better. And I've trained with Rex a little bit, and I've taken a chop from him. He's a mean man, and it don't feel good when he puts his hands on you. And
take it easy on you.
That's right. And weird story. Rex was one of the first local wrestlers I've ever seen. It was at TWA, and that's back when the Watkins family, God rest both their souls.
Yeah.
That's when the Watkins family still ran TWA. I think it was still in Rossville. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather took me to a show, and I saw Rex there, and I was just blown away at just who Rex was as a total package.
Yeah.
And, I've kind of followed Cyrus with the All Japan, and, he debuted on AEW Dark, and I was instantly a fan of his too. And the fact that one of my childhood favorites with Rex is meeting one of my current favorites, Cyrus in the ring. As a wrestling fan, it's a dream match in the local scene. It's a dream match even if it was on the professional scene. I don't care who you are. It's not going to be a match you want to miss, especially for that big gold NGWA belt.
Yeah, that's the immovable object meeting the whatever force. Like that cliche was created for a match like this. It is definitely
exactly.
Dynamic. I would just be scared to be the referee in this match, to be really honest with you about it. They're both. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. Like nobody's really safe when they're in the ring, including the both of them. Like, will either one of them make it out of the match? Will only one make it out of the match? Like, what is going to happen? Will they both go down, and then what if they're both out? There's so many ways this could go that I am so excited and like literal goosebumps on my arm thinking about this match. Now Cyrus, I have wrestled him before too, and I have faced a lot of giants. Shane Daniels on down the line, Brad Cash, all the big guys I faced on the independent scene. Nobody was as strong as Cyrus. That man has insane strength. But nobody, and it's weird you tell that story because that's literally my story. I grew up watching Rawhead Rex and Keith Hart and Chuck Colt and Sam Colt and all of those guys. So that's my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
And so I actually got to perform and be part of that, both a tag team with him called Brothers Grimm and a part of the Misfits as well. That was a very exciting time in my life. And if any meanness is in me, he taught me. To me, Cyrus may be the strongest, but Rawhead Rex is definitely the meanest, dirtiest snake in independent wrestling right now.
Definitely.
Not put anything past that man.
It's going to be definitely the highlight of the card. Not to, downplay any of the other matches, but we may be patching holes in the community center once it's done, brother. It's going to be, as good old JR would say, a slobber knocker.
Yeah. Like, I hope security's tight. Like, keep your babies in your lap. Like this is going to, don't blink, don't go to the bathroom except for interceptions. Like all of these are going to be top notch. Any one of these on any other card could be a main event, and then you top it off with something like the Monster Cyrus versus Rawhead Rex, and there's nothing out there that's going to come close to me, in my opinion. Other people may have other opinions. Something else may resonate with somebody else better, but for my money, nothing beats this right now, especially that main event match.
Yeah, I remember getting the announcement for it. Our booker, Stu Valentine, you may know Stu. He handed me the card and said, this is our main event. And I said, you're kidding, right? You're kidding.
I
And I
remember
almost
seeing.
wanted to say, like, do we have enough money to pay for both these guys in a main event? And then there was the night that I made the announcement of their match, and I do all my work on my phone. And that's not to brag. It's just it's easy, and I get in and out and do the work. And I remember making that video, and I myself was excited to send that to management as the announcement to send to the rest of the world and the rest of the NGWA fans that these two guys are going to blow the place up. I mean, I grew up as a Godzilla fan. It's Godzilla versus Destroyer. It's Godzilla versus Kong. It's a showdown.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be live, and like, I don't think you understand if you've not seen these guys live. If you've not seen Rawhead Rex, if you've not seen the size of Cyrus, I mean, and you're not going to believe the way Cyrus moves. Like he moves like a middleweight. It's so amazing. So there's going to be a lot of surprises, a lot of things if you've never seen these guys that you really need to be there live and see this. Now the only problem I see, I don't know how in the hell you guys are going to top this card. How often GWA be having shows? Is this a special event, or was something leading up to this? Is this going to just be everyone will be a special event like that because you're only doing them so often, or about how often are we going to have these shows?
Well, we may have a few special titles lined up for our first few shows to kind of help pump in that new blood.
Right.
Genesis just kind of came to me as it is our first brand new show. It's the first all new show, so why not start with Genesis?
Right. I love it.
And we don't have an official name for November yet, but I think we may be putting an official title on that one as well. And then December. And then moving into January with the new year, we may just kind of start rolling with a normal show and building up a super event show every few months, maybe.
Gotcha.
Still playing it by ear, but, Genesis just kind of came to me and it just felt right. And as for topping this card, I think we still have a few surprises up our sleeve. I still think in the longevity of NGWA, you're still going to see a lot of things that are going to blow your mind, even beyond Rawhead Rex versus Cyrus the Destroyer.
Wow. And I can't wait to see who they are because this is, I guess AEW gave CM Punk back his passion. Well, I feel like there's a few shows out there now, this one in particular, that are really starting to give me my passion back. Like, it's really about the fans now, like it should have been all along. They forget that without the fans, that there's not going to be a show. There's nobody to cheer. There's nobody to boo. We went through a period of seeing these empty arenas, and they did their best with trying to film with videos and falsehoods, and it was just it just didn't cut it. The fans are part of the show, so thank you guys for making sure they were the first person you thought of when you decided to revamp this show. I know they will really appreciate it, and I know it's probably weird for them to hear me talk so nice about them because I'm not usually this nice. And don't expect it at all times or tell anybody because, fuck them fans. Because you might feel a reputation. We can't have that. And Rex taught me a few little mean tricks too. So if the word gets out there, I might come for you myself. Now, you said this manager meeting. When is this manager's meeting again, sir?
I think we're going to have it roughly a few weeks after the 23rd. I don't know a set date yet. Rex was actually the one who kind of passed me that information. Rex is kind of my go-to guy. He's even though I'm not wrestling, Rex is very much my mentor in a lot of ways. The guy's brain for the business. Him and Stu Valentine both. They just have a brain for the business.
Right.
So I don't have a set date on that managers meeting. But you mentioned the fans, and we revamped this for the fans. And you mentioned empty arenas. People don't realize last year when even the big shows were empty, your little shows were empty, and it hurt the little shows a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we kind of came back. We were allowed to start having shows again, and we saw that it took its toll, and we all looked at ourselves like we need to do something. Something has to be done. We got to sweep out the cobwebs. We got to blow off the dust and find some new ways to bring people in and make a love for your local shows. because you see your big guys on TV. They were local guys at one point.
Yes.
And as much as we love local shows, it's always a goal of ours to help people pursue their dream in wrestling. And if they can use NGWA as a springboard into that, and NGWA grows alongside them, that's the goal. But the ultimate goal is to always make a product for the fans and that they can love and adore and support, unconditionally.
Right.
And part of that is with our Facebook page, coming soon, not yet, but Facebook has a top fan slot for your pages, and if our top fans, we're going to pick 5 throughout the month, hopefully, and maybe they'll get some kickbacks for being top fan. We're working on NGWA T-shirts with our logo and name on it.
Glad you brought that up.
And we may even try to do a free ticket for 5 fans if they're the top fan, helping push us out, because that's what it's all about. It's growing the product, and the fans are actually the biggest part of that.
Yeah, they truly are, and you were talking about Rawhead Rex and his knowledge, and you're right, across all avenues. He can mentor so many people, and I learned so much from him. And Cyrus too, he came up after me, and we had a lot of matches, and we've been friends in the past. But let me tell you, for this one, I'm going to keep under the cuff who I'm kind of going for, and who I think might win this one. And I'll talk to you about that more maybe next time. Now, I do want to get you back here in the studio if we can before the show, if not shortly after, to talk about further things that are coming up, and to kind of stretch this one to give people some more information besides just this show. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up? And I'm glad you brought up the merchandise, because that's going to be one of my questions. So definitely make sure when that's available, when the new Facebook comes out, make sure you like it. If they go on YouTube, go like, subscribe, hit notify. Do the same thing with mine. But is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up, brother?
If you're a fan of NGWA, you're a fan of local wrestling, and you're a fan of any of these guys on the card, spend the $5, come and enjoy yourself some concessions, and just be blown away by the match. All the matches of this card. It's going to be a wild night. It's going to be something that's going to go down in your memory and our memories as one of the best nights of NGWA, period. If you're a fan, you don't want to miss it at all.
No, they're going to be talking about this one. I'm going to be talking about this one. We'll be talking about this one for a long time after. To all those guys on the card, good luck. Thank you so much, Chris Chastain, for being here. The greatest gift you can give somebody is the gift of time, and you gave us some of that. We appreciate you doing that for us and for the fans with NGWA. Everybody be sure to check them out. Again, it's October 23rd at the, how do you say that, Sublinga?
Subligna.
Subligna. I'm dyslexic. You'll have to excuse me. And I've been hitting the head a lot.
Don't worry. I'm the same way.
Center in Summerville, Georgia?
Somerville, Georgia.
Damn, I got something right.
How about you just tell us, Chris, when and where and what time?
NGWA Genesis, bell time at 7 p.m., admissions $5, 95 Begonia Drive, Somerville, Georgia, at the Subligna Community Center.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Besides all of those people, like I said, myself's going to be there. The beautiful wife Jen is going to be there. You come over and say hello. That was the wife and the co-host. Yes.
One thing I did forget to mention, there is a, we're happy to have Chronic Conversations in the building. Especially, the man Jerry himself. Like I said, I've caught a few of yours and Rex's matches back in the day. We have another kind of special guest hopefully showing up. I know he's invited. It's not promised yet, but we got inducted into a video game. An independent video game creator called Bell Derek's Games is creating an indie pro wrestling manager simulator. Yeah. And he is accepting talent and promotions. And he's got all sorts of promotions from the Southeast and other regions around the United States. But NGWA got accepted to be an Indie Pro 2022 that's coming out next year. And I hope that the creator is going to be there as well. So, if we've got people from Valderek's Games and Chronic Creations there, you're as a fan, you're not going to want to miss being in the building.
No. You never know what can happen. You never know, what my triggers are, what may happen. So come out, say hello to us. We will have these here.
Don't have it. Come out and say hi.
Right there.
Gotta snag me one of those.
Silver and black. We'll have some of those to give away there as well. So there's another little treat. Like it just keeps giving and giving and giving, right? So I mean, definitely don't miss this one. I don't. You see my Facebook page. You see very few shows. There's very little, like I said, that excites me or interests me. So if I'm pushing this, it's for a big reason. I know if you're a wrestling fan like I am, especially an old school wrestling fan or even a new school wrestling fan, the combination of things you're going to see, you're not ever going to forget, and you're going to want to tell your friends about. Chris, man, thank you so much for joining us. Hang on for after the show, and we'll do a little bit of talking, and we'll get some things set up, brother. Thank you again for being on here. Shout out to the main event, Cyrus and Rawhead Rex. I'll see y'all, the fans, and the other wrestlers there that night. Peace out. Chronic Conversations are saying goodnight.
Peace.
Peace, man. Thank you so much for having us.
Appreciate it.
And